Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live. Let's see who comes in for a chat. So as you can tell, the temperature is starting to drop, and we even had our first frost. The frost actually caught us by a little bit of a surprise. So we weren't expecting a massive frost to come. We were expecting the temperature to drop, but on Thursday morning, I think I woke up and the car had ice on it. I went out into the garden and my plants, my tomato plants, a lot of my gourds, a lot of my squash, that's it, they've done. The temperature drop has just done them in. So we need to start preparing for winter and get those final things so that we're going to plant out into the ground, planted into the ground before the soil loses its heat. So if you're thinking about planting garlic, now's a brilliant time to plant your garlic, and I think that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. So the plan is this weekend to clear the top bed, the bed that I made, I think it was last year or the year before. It's quite a new bed. It's not had garlic grown in it. It's not had any onions grown in it before. So I think what we'll do with there is mulch it with a good layer of grass clippings, compost, and use the cardboard method of sticking some garlic in the ground. Big Mac, how are you doing, man? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Brother, best way to help Palestine to help with okay. Look, you're live on air. Don't be silly. The best way is help with your prayers. So Mimi Susu, how are you doing from Florida? How are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Hope everything's good with you. I think you need to be kicked out. There you go. There's all kinds of clowns that pop in. So we've got a couple of people coming in saying salam, hello, walaikum assalam on TikTok. How are you doing? I hope you're all keeping well. Graham, how are you doing, man? Good to see you. Hope everything's good with you. It's been a while since you've been able to join. As all your festivals now finished. Kilted Gardener, long time no see. Hope you're keeping well, man. I hope everything's good with you. And my bearded brother from across the pond. Hope everything's keeping well. Margaret, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. How are you doing? So yeah, it's going to be a fun time over the next few days because well, it's going to be a busy time over the next few days because we've got to balance those plants that are still viable and pull out those plants that are no longer viable anymore, and getting if you're planting winter onions or from set, now's the time to get them in the ground as well with your garlic. Shallots can go in. Great time to do them. I think we'll, if I can get the bed cleared in time, then we'll get that garlic in the ground this weekend. But I've got a busy day tomorrow. UK Javo, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Not much of a beard at the moment. Shaved it off and goatee's come. Oh man, yeah, that beard suited you. Nice big beard. So I'm away till next Sunday again at the NEC doing skiing show until Monday, then motorhome show Tuesday. At least it's keeping you busy and keeping you out of trouble. But I bet you just want to get back home. Are you managing to get back home and get any time on your lot? You'll be back by winter. Perfect time to keep your face warm. Yeah, so yeah, I think that top bed's a lot of plants are gonna get cleared this weekend, so all the squash beds. But I've got another project happening right now. I started it last weekend, but it's pretty heavy going because I managed to get a load of concrete slabs for free. So I was doing a bit of digging around on Facebook Marketplace, and I managed to get a load of I think they're 2x2, the old style concrete slabs. So they're quite big, they're quite chunky, and I've been picking, wheeling them around last week, and someone's just offered me a load more, so I'm gonna go get them. I don't know if I'll get time to do it this weekend, but maybe next weekend. And then there's a whole area at the bottom of the garden that I want to get slabbed and get it nice. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Last weekend it took me a day just to fetch them all, and then another day to start working on this new project. I'll show you what it is very soon. But if you've seen my compost piles and you've seen all my composting areas, then you'll have known that a lot of the pallets are now quite old, they're quite rotten, they're wearing away, and all that needs replacing. Sarfraz, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Pouring down with rain here in London. It was pouring down this morning, so we had a lot of rain this morning, and then see, I like walking to work in the morning, and one of my neighbors saw me, and then I had to argue with my neighbor because my neighbor wanted to give me a lift into work. He didn't want me walking in the rain. I was like, no, I want to stretch my legs. Are you sure? No, I want to stretch my legs. No. Nice of him to stop and offer me a lift, but my car was parked outside my house. I just like walking to work in the morning because it's one of the few chances I get during the day, during weekdays, to stretch my legs and get a bit of fresh air. Yeah, so it's nice. It's nice to have people like that around. Kill the gardener, have some of that naga. That'll keep you. It will keep you warm. Absolutely, it will keep you warm. We've got naga in stock, by the way. So if anyone does want them, perfect for Christmas. Yeah, they make great stocking fillers. That are pickles. If you don't know about them, check out www.myfamilygarden.co.uk and you'll be able to see what we're selling. There's a new pickle about to be launched as well. I just need to get the label finalized and then we're ready to go. I've got 2 weeks off, then away till Christmas morning. No for the man. So no rest for the wicked. So you're going to be busy like crazy for the next couple of weeks. Then that's going to keep you very, very entertained at least. Yeah, those pickles are amazing. We've got a new one coming, Graham, and honestly, I think this is going to take over as my favorite. It's not hot. It's a good mixed pickle, so it's got mangoes, lime, peas, carrots, garlic, everything in it. It's going to be a really good one. But so, what's everyone getting on with at their plots? What's everyone up to at the moment? How are things going with you all? What's the latest? Give me some. Yeah, give me an update. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, definitely. Will that add you to the list, man? Once the labels get finalized and they come back from the printers, that's it. They're ready to go. Give them a thumbs up if you haven't already done so. That'd be nice of you. I've been busy here. We moved last October. Need to get into the garden mode again. Have you moved from where you were before? Where have you moved far from where you were before? See, if anyone follows me on TikTok, you'll know that just now, just before I got in, I was fixing my axe. So I was chopping wood and chopping eucalyptus, so Australian hardwood, absolutely rock solid. and I bought this still axe at the start of the year. Really, really solid, chunky beast. And chopping these eucalyptus, the axe just couldn't handle it. The end just went flying off. It was like launching a rocket from one side of the room to, one side of the garden to the other. It was absolutely flying. Just lucky it didn't hit or crash into anything and break it. But I spent most of the day just trying to get that axe handle to fit into that head, because I didn't want to shave it too much. So I was just sanding it, and getting it sanded down just so it's perfect to fit in. That's the hardest part. I mean, even ended up with a little injury. Not a massive one, just a little one, but all war wounds and all that sort of thing. My neighbour loves your channel. I will let him know when you have a new one coming. Oh, that'll be brilliant if you let him know. So about 10 minutes from the other place. Okay, so I haven't gone far then. So it's not, but I bet everything's still not really unpacked, and you're still trying to get everything sorted yet. Ali, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hi in Minnesota, it's raining lots. Hope everyone is well, quite quiet in the garden, enjoying Indian mustard greens and salad, stir fries, planting my garlic this weekend. Snap on the garlic. Yeah, I think garlic's one for this weekend for us as well. Just downloaded TikTok for the first time ever. We'll try to. See, I remember when TikTok first came out, right? And I was like, "Oh, this is such a stupid app," because everyone was just doing those stupid dance videos and those kind of things. And I was like, "Oh, this is so silly." But now I'm on TikTok all the time, and it's like, "Oh man, what have I turned into?" Once you get it, it's really, they've absolutely cracked that the way people's minds work and all that sort of thing. That they've created a masterpiece with that thing, because the way they just hook people in, I don't think it's great for everyone, but the way they've created it, they've just got people in there. And even now, the biggest growing audience on TikTok is the sort of 30 to 40-year-olds. Better suited to the family. Kids have a better back garden to play with within a fence. See, that's one of the things that we loved about moving here, because we grew up in a terraced house and never had access to a garden. So it's always, a tiny little bit of concrete in front of your house, and then you're doing a little bit of growing on there. For a time, we had an allotment, but we couldn't keep that after my father passed away. But since when we saw this house, I mean, the house was the plaster was falling off the walls. That's the state it was in. It was quite nasty, but the garden was absolutely huge. It was really overgrown. I mean, I remember the grass being taller than I am, and little saplings or sycamore trees just sprouted everywhere. And yeah, when we saw the garden, it was like, yeah, this is the place. We just have to buy it. And it's taken us years and years and years just to get it into it. It took us years to get it into a livable condition. We were living in it, but it took us a long time to get it fixed up. Got the loft extension done, and yeah, the rest is history. But the garden has been absolutely amazing for us. It's done wonders for my mum's health. It's done wonders for my health, because when I moved to this garden, when I moved to this place, I was still in a wheelchair. So just think about how far I've come in the last sort of 15 years. The weather has gone bad. It's getting dark and depressed. Yeah, it seemed to change overnight on Wednesday. Wednesday was still nice, and then overnight the temperature just suddenly dropped. I mean, Thursday morning we woke up, there was frost on the glass of the car for the first time, It just seemed to have happened, overnight. We were expecting it to drop a little bit, but not the way it did drop. It just came too fast, too soon. Um, where'd you get where'd you get your garlic to plant out? Last few years, I bought organic garlic from Costco, Morrison's, and planted them out. I'd say they were full of flavor and stored well. So I just, from the Asian supermarkets, that's the garlic I plant out. Um, Most of it is Spanish, or it comes. It is yeah. It's mostly from overseas, but yeah, I just plant that stuff out. Um, Fall short on the growing season this year. It came early, so the cold temperature. I mean, we had a funny year this year. We had a really funny year. It was cold, then warm, then cold, then warm, and then boiling hot, and then cold again. Mark, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Um, um, yeah, I mean, things with everything that's going on with that, yeah, it's going to take time. Um, what's wrong? Do you have a long-term disability? I do. I damaged my spine when I was in my early 20s. Um, and yeah, yeah, that really set me back. So in my most of my 20s, I spent, um, I think it was about 25, something like that. I damaged my spine, um, and I was in a wheelchair for about 5 or 6 years. Um, but since I've moved here and we're starting to move about, and just, you know, there's something about having that outdoor space or having that access to outdoor space. The way it impacts your life, it just makes things a lot better. Um, it improves. You can see how it improves health. I mean, if you take a 10-minute bus ride from where I grew up, and just go a little bit past where I am, a 10-minute bus ride will increase life expectancy by about 10-15 years. That's the sort of impact having green space and outdoor space can have on people, um, and not just being congested in. Uh, Jim, great success this year, ripening my green tomatoes individually wrapped in sheets of paper and placed in a covered cardboard box along with 4 apples. First time I've used this method. The apples are fantastic. I mean, apples, any sort of ripening fruit will be great. Ripe tomatoes, bananas, all of them are releasing ethylene, and that just helps them ripen up. And I love the wrapped in individual paper because that'll give it a little bit of a microclimate, but at the same time allow it to breathe. I like that. Big Mac, can you help? My greenhouse is full of fungus gnats. I won't put my garlic and onion sets. Don't know what to do. Okay. um, First of all, slow down on the amount of moisture that you've got in there. If you're pouring a lot of what do you call it? If you water in your compost a lot, that's one of the wet compost is something fungus gnats love. Um, Use fly traps. So we used to just stick a bit of sticky paper, a bit of double-sided tape, leave those hanging about around the plants, and that catches a lot of the adults. It it helps with controlling the adults, but it won't help with the eggs and stuff like that. If you've got compost that you're sort of what's the word? If you've got compost that you're storing and the fungus gnats are in there, then what I'd do with that is I'd try and spread it out as thinly as you can, get it outside, and try and dry it out a little bit. That'll slow the that'll stop the what's the word? Stop the my mindset's gone. Stop the place where the fungus gnats can make home. the environment won't be very comfortable for them. So that'll help. But at the same time, exposing them to outside temperatures and the wind and all of that sort of thing, it'll just help control them a little bit. Manjul Matur, pray for Palestine, inshallah. Absolutely. So try that. But fungus gnats won't really affect living plants. They don't. They're not a massive. They don't really affect most living plants, unless the plants are really small and really weak. They're not really going to affect them. Do you know, like a garlic or an onion from set, especially, that you won't see them really affect that sort of thing. Yeah. I've only really seen them affect weak seedlings, things that are already dying anyway. But apart from that, I've not seen them affect anything. They're just annoying because they're there. Just managed to get my hands on a 25-year-old asparagus crowns. Where'd you get them from? That's awesome. Do you know Nitin? He's on the Facebook group. So if you don't know about the Facebook group, Nitin's one of the. He's on there all the time. He used to come into the chat sometimes, but I haven't seen him for a while. When I went down to his place a couple of years ago, he had these asparagus plants, and they were really, really old. Someone had them on another plot, and when they left, they gave him the asparagus, and he brought them over to his plot. And I'm not joking. He had asparagus about that thick, just shooting up all over the place. Absolutely, really, really big, strong asparagus. And I was like, you know, I've never seen this sort of thing, and it's one of those plants, right, that is a really long term plant. Um, when when I first started gardening, I was thinking, yes, I'm going to plant some, I'm going to plant some, I want to plant some, and I got some seeds, and someone sent me some seeds, and I was like, if I grow them from seed, I'm gonna have to wait 2 years before I plant them, or before I get a harvest, and I'm not going to know whether it's male or female, which one's going to produce the spears. Um, and then I thought, okay, I'm not going to plant the asparagus. I'm going to wait, and I'll get some crowns next year. And next year went on, and before I know it, 10 years have gone past, and I've still not got any asparagus in the ground. And I was talking to Nitin about this when I went down to see him, and he gave me, I think they were red asparagus. He gave me about 6 crowns. And I planted them now. I planted them 2 years ago. So in my garden. I planted them 2 years ago, and we got our first asparagus harvest this year. So it's one of those plants, just like trees. The sooner you get them in the ground, the better. The best time to plant them was yesterday. That's what I think. Don't be like me. Don't end up, saying I'm going to plant them, and just never get around to doing it, and then just completely lose 10 years of growing. Wishing one day I can move to a place that I can have a garden in a backyard. I use a walker these days. Physical therapy hurts, but slowly getting better. I'm sorry to hear you're not well. Is it something that will get better? Did right about outdoor space. Definitely, you're in a world of your own when you're in your garden. Best it is. It really is. I mean, you hear about GPs nowadays prescribing spending time in the garden. My wife works at a farm, and there's medical groups that turn up at the farm just to come and help out with weeding and shifting a few things. Shifting a few things, and that just gives them, that headspace. It really does make a massive difference in your life. What do you think about a fungus gnat bomb I've seen online? I don't know what they are, so I can't really comment. The one thing I would be wary about is what sort of what's contained in it. Is there any harmful pesticides? I know cinnamon can be used for fungus gnats as well. Cinnamon powder. Try that. That's another little tip. But I don't know what these fungus gnats bombs are and what kind of pesticides they've got in them. Facebook and the generator delivered six for 4 plants already. Got a bed full, but they're this is amazing. That's that's absolutely amazing. Great, good on you. Rob, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Noor Ali, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. I'm legally blind. I have a beautiful backyard that I do myself. I'll take care of the backyard. My husband takes care of the front. Is the garden set up for you? Have you set the garden up in a way that works for you? And how do you find gardening with a disability? See, this should be a topic. How do people garden with disabilities? That should be a real topic. I think that'd be a really good one for a lot of people. A lot of people could identify with that. I think. How do you grow food, or how do you just get access to outdoor space when you're disabled? I mean, if I go back to what I was saying, when I was 25, I wouldn't have been able to dream of some of the stuff that I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. But it's completely different story now. In the last sort of when did I buy this house? 2009. So we bought this house in 2009. Since then, life has changed massively. Yeah. It's changed absolutely massively. Which is good. Yeah. So what else? Fungus gnat bombs will kill everything in there, and it's meant to be scrubbed out after May if in a greenhouse. So I missed canning this year. What food prep have you done? So most of our food prep goes in the form of freezing. So a lot of our beans, a lot of our bottle gourds, we peel them, chop them, and freeze them. We don't actually can a lot of stuff, which is one thing that we should start getting into a bit more. We just need to adapt to the way we eat and cook our food, really, because we use a lot of fresh vegetables, but we don't use a lot of canned vegetables. So the only times we're really using canned vegetables if we're using chickpeas or stuff like that, or canned beans. But yeah, I think canning would make a massive difference. I think that's something that we need to learn to do and adapt our cooking a little bit, so we can do that sort of thing. But we pickle some stuff, and the other things that we do is like make fruit leathers. So a lot of our apples, my mum made into fruit leathers, and we just use that, and that'll be nice, nice little snack all the way through the year. We're not sticking loads of sugar in that either. We use a bit of molasses for sweetener, but mostly where that'll keep us going for a good while. But then we're keeping things, keeping the things like squash in the skin. So we're making sure that the squash is fully mature before we harvest it. And then that one is going to be that's going to store a lot longer. So that's pretty much what we do for food prep or veg prep for storage. Canning is something that we should really get into. I love it. I make mistakes, but I have so many fruit trees, raised garden, and also have a guide dog. Um, it makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Just being out in that green space, it just makes a massive, massive difference. So Ned, yeah, we're talking about these fungus snap bombs. I don't really know. I've never heard of them before, so I don't really know what's in them. Derek, how are you doing for Thanks very much for coming in. Baldy Old Far. Alan, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Hope everyone is well and life's treating you all well. Rattle trap fishing, long time no see, man. How are you keeping? Start with canning tomatoes with. Oh, do you know what my brother was doing? My brother was making. He made thingy tomato sauce. So not something that I did, but my brother, he took all of our sort of beefy tomatoes and he turned it into this sort of like ragu sauce, and he didn't sort of pressure can it, so it's not in a can that we're going to store, but he canned it and stuck it in the freezer, or we put it in containers and stuck it in the freezer. But it'd be good to learn how to do that without sticking it in the freezer, being able to make have it like a jar that you can store for a good while. That'd be a good trick to learn. I think we're a bit away from that. We just need to learn that a little bit. So MA, bit of a walaikum assalam. Have you burned a wood pellet before? Thinking to burn some for heat. Munir, I've never burned wood pellet before. Normally, like stoves that burn wood pellet, they have like a special chute. So you load your wood pellet into one side, and then it feeds it down, and then it burns. I don't know exactly how it works. I had a friend who had one, or I've got a friend who used to have one, but yeah, he doesn't have one anymore. Martin, thanks very much. We're getting all right. We're getting on. It's more. I mean, it's been what 2.5 weeks. It's going to take time. So Karen, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. I don't get the notifications, but I'm still see loads of people tell me they don't get notifications when I'm live. But it's a shame. It really is a shame that people don't get notifications. But I hope life's treating you well and everything's good with you, because there's a when I first started YouTubing, there was a bunch of American YouTubers that sort of took me on the wing. Grant McIntosh, rattle trap fishing, Cole outdoors, Ken. I mean, sadly, Ken passed away of cancer a couple of years ago. But yeah, there was a good bunch of Americans that took me under the wing, and it was a nice little group. Do you remember those days? I'll order one and let you know fungus snap bombs work. All right. You give it a test, but find out what the ingredients are first, and just make sure you're not going, you're not getting anything too toxic. Water bath canning is the easiest to learn. I've just started to read a book on canning, bro. When I finish. Wicked, that'll be really nice. Here we go. Beginner's question. Raise my first crop of potatoes today, Charlotte. What's the best way to store, please? See, the best way the absolute best way to store potatoes is in the ground, so still in the soil. So if you grow, what I do with my pot potatoes is I just leave them in the pots of soil. If you keep them dryish, well, out of the pouring rain, and out of the freezing cold, as long as the pots don't freeze, that potato will store for a good while in that. So what I do is I'll bring my dead potato buckets and stick them in the greenhouse, and then just pull them out whenever I'm harvesting them. The potatoes are out of the ground. The things what we do with them is if you've got do you know those supermarket trays? You might have seen them in my videos. They're sort of like a grid shape, and they have these bars on the top that you can put up, and you can use that for stacking, or you can use that. Yeah, they're really good. If you get some like Hessian bags, put a Hessian bag or even newspaper or cardboard underneath it, and then just spread your potatoes out on there, and then cover them again with either a Hessian bag or some more cardboard, but keep them out of the light, and that'll just stop them from going green. But that's one trick that we found to keep potatoes for a good while, and that works quite well for us actually. Stallion fishing, how are you doing, man? I hope you're keeping well. Just seen it in my feed. I'm glad you made it in though. There's a big problem with notifications. A lot of people get notifications after I've just finished. Right, I'm back. Been watching the dog. Was he doing anything? Was he juggling? That's a cheesy joke. Yeah. Just brought some koi fry, mate. Koi farm had a late spawn with. Oh, amazing, amazing. I don't know what I'm going to do with my pond, but I'd love some koi. How big? How big are the fry that you got? Are you guys talking about red mite? We're talking chainsaw Tony. We were talking about fungus gnat. I don't get notifications. Just set my alarm for Friday every week. I know I'm a little bit late, but I'm always here. Hit that like I did, you know. I just harvested some potatoes after 17 months in the see. There you go. But you'll have probably got 2 years worth of growth out of them. Whereabouts are you based? I only took 50 on. If I want any in the spring next year, it gives us a shout. If I get around to getting my if I get around to fixing my pond, because at the moment the pond's nowhere near big enough for koi. I've got a goldfish, a couple of guys in there that are about that big. They're about 8 inches, and I think they're too big for the pond. But we've got some smaller goldfish in there. I want to make it a bit nicer. I do want to make it into. Yeah, I do want to make it into something a bit more special. But I keep playing with this idea of selling this place and seeing what I can get out of this place and buying a bit of land. If I don't do it soon, then I'm never going to do it. And then yeah, if I don't, I need to do it, don't I? I need to do it. If I don't do it soon, then I'll never do it. That's that's actually just really what's the word? It's just really sunk in there. Because like I was talking last week, you look at your elders and they're like a shadow above you, and then all of a sudden you look up and they're not there anymore, and then you realize you're the elders, and yeah, That's just I don't know. Shweta, how are you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you. Hope you're keeping well. Hope life's treating you good. I can I plant Swedes or turnip this weekend on my small allotment? Um, I don't know. I think is the question. I think it might be a little bit risky. Um, if you've got some spare seeds and you've got space, I don't see the problem in trying. Whether you're going to get a harvest or not, I don't know. Simply because the temperature just seems to have taken a massive drop um, in the last couple of days. There'll probably still be enough heat in the ground to get them to germinate. But I mean, turnips grow really fast. You can normally get a harvest out of them in less than 3 months. But if you're at the beginning of this month, I would have definitely said yes. But now I'm starting to think, give it a go and see what happens. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't. If you've got the space and you've got the spare seed, I don't think you've got anything to lose. I just think I don't know if you will get a good harvest or if the plants will survive over the winter. I don't. Yeah, that's me honest answer. Uh, so Martin saying I made a go at making a curry from scratch. I use Naga chili because you grew you grew them. Ew. Oh yeah. If you if you're not a chili person and then you try chili, Naga chili, yeah, you will know about it. Uh, right. Question here. I keep getting bitten in the garden. I'm wondering, where's the question gone? Um, oh, come on. What's happened there? Oops. What are you doing? I'm wondering if I should wear something like long johns and wellies, not getting above the kneecap. Any thoughts? I think it's mosquitoes. Um, I find when I wear shorts in the garden, around my ankle areas, do you know where your veins are a bit big? Around there, you get a lot of mosquito bites. I tend to get them on my wrists as well. Around my ankle areas, I get a lot of mosquito bites. Um, Sometimes midges bite. I'm not sure what the insect's called, but there's this little. It's like black and white. It's almost like it's a flying insect, but it's almost like a beetle. Um, it, I don't know what it's called. I've never been able to get a picture of him while he's biting me. I'm normally screaming, but it hurts like mad. It really hurts. And whenever that thing bites me, I always blister up really badly. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Um, it's almost like a little zebra pattern on it. Um, but if it's mosquitoes, garlic's supposed to be good. If you boil some garlic, um, I keep saying that I'm going to do it, but I think my wife will kill me if I start spraying myself in garlic and then um, do it while you're young. What is watching dog euphemism for? I don't know. Is it a euphemism? Um, I want to be 17. See, I want to be 17 again with the same knowledge I've got now. That'd be good. Or even or even in my mid 20s with the same knowledge I've got now. That'd be awesome. Um, I'm the only person who can get 4 mosquito bites in a hotel room in Birmingham. See, that's what my brother says. They don't need mosquito spray or anything like that. They just need me in the room because mosquitoes always go for me. I think my blood's the sweetest. That's what it is. Uh, but yeah, I get bitten badly by mosquitoes, and I react badly as well. If I get bitten by a mosquito, I end up with a blister, and then it normally gets quite horrible. Um, yeah, but everyone else gets mosquito bite and it goes away after a little bit, and mine just gets really horrible, and yeah, nasty. Um, can you let us know after you've read the canning books you have? I would love to talk about it. Um, Graham, I think that one's for you, or is it for me when you're done with it? I had to build a fence. My dogs get jumping near the greenhouse. What kind of dogs have you got? So I have ginger in pots, waiting to sprout. Will need slightly weaker nutrients, fed more frequently on normal plant feeding cycle as per any house plant. Um, is it a decent sized pot? Because if it's a decent sized pot, I wouldn't worry about really feeding it. As long as it's got the heat, the light. Ginger doesn't need. I've not noticed that it needs loads and loads of feed. As long as it's got, if it's in the house, as long as it's got heat and light, it does okay. We sometimes managed to overwinter it. So last year, our overwintering failed with the ginger, um, so we've still not found a consistent way of overwintering it. We've managed to overwinter plants. I thought we'd mastered it. If somewhere, like in the bathroom where it's a little bit humid, and it's generally a little bit warmer, that that kind of environment normally does quite well. You don't need loads and loads of light as long as you've got loads of warmth, um, and it's going to stay. It's not going to freeze in there. If it does that, then you can generally overwinter it. A little bit of light, loads of warmth. Um, or don't overwater it because the last thing you want is cold, wet soil because that'll just rot it. So just be careful of that. So if you do want to use nutrients, then I'd use weaker nutrients. The one thing that we do sometimes use with ginger is like a couple of chicken manure pellets dissolved in a bucket of water and just use that water to water our house plants. Um, um, Savlon I don't like. There's this cream that I got from the chemist last year. I got it. I got a couple of tubs, but I've not been able to find it since. It's called Anti-Stan. It's like a green and white or anti-histan or something like that, or anti-stan. But that's one that really helps with the itching. Um, it, it's not going to cure it. It's not going to make it better, but it'll stop the itching, and that's the thing that normally drives me mad. Um, I've been super busy at work, so I haven't had a chance to join. I'm glad you made it in, though. It's good to see you. Uh, and busy at work. Hopefully, that's a good thing. Garlic chase. People who get attracted by mosquitoes tend to have the warmer hearts. That's what my uh, yeah, me too. I think that's what it is. It's our blood tastes sweeter than everyone else's. Uh, Maribel, who I just invited to the group I work with, she's in the. I forgot to mention that I've just bagged myself some free tropical plants on my fish tank for wicked. Very nice, very nice. When you're gonna do your review? So if anyone does like fish keeping and generally keeping fish, stallion fish keeping is a good channel to go and have a look at. Go and say hello as well. Rob, we were asking what's this keeping watching the dog a euphemism for? Is it a euphemism, or were you really watching the dog? I don't get any mosquitoes feeding on me, but when they do, I leave them to it and watch them. It's fascinating to watch. Uh, blood makes good fertilizer, Ned. Think about that as well. No, don't. Rob, do I contact you when I built a fence to stop them pulling best my greenhouse on? I've got an Akita, and a French, also French. One of my mates had a Akita, absolutely huge animal. Go to the airway on A64 selling. Where's that? Where's the airway on A64? I put a steamed onion in about a couple of minutes steamed, and then put the cloth towel, and the onion draws the poison out, and that takes the pain away. Really good for it, eh? What? I put a steamed onion for a couple of minutes. If that really works, that's amazing. That's amazing. Do you think that'll work for mosquito bites then? Uh, as soon as you mentioned Airways on A64. I haven't seen that garden centre. Nothing massive. I use a seaweed fertilizer. Okay, so seaweed fertilizer generally just it's not massively nutritious, so just loads of minerals. So that's pretty good. No problem at all. Absolutely no problem at all. Nate, how are you doing? It's time for indoor growing. What are you going to be growing indoors? Spelling is bad. Don't worry about your spelling. My reading's bad. Don't panic. I already know. What do I already know? Uh, uh, it's a garden centre run by. Oh, is it that massive one, the atrium? That one? Because do you know what? I thought that was run by the council, right? And if you're talking about the atrium or something like that, the really big one, I thought it was run by the council. I thought it'd be fairly reasonable and stuff. So I went down the first time. I mean, it looks amazing. It's really impressive, the place, but it's not actually run by the council. It's a private company that got a load of council grants, and like all the green waste from the council, they get that and they sell it back. And I thought it was well expensive. I don't know if that's just me, but I thought it was well expensive the first time I went. I don't know if they're having a sale or something like that. But yeah, I thought it was well expensive the first time I went there. But it's a really impressive place because they've got a massive greenhouse, they've got a massive piece of land, that they've done it on. It is really, really impressive. But they do a lot of the council green waste recycling, and they sell that on. And I thought they'd sell that on for quite cheap, but they don't. They don't. They weren't selling it for cheap. The bagged stuff was almost as expensive as anything else. This year, I've started a few chili seeds. I remember you mentioned starting them in October, hoping I'd get some decent harvest. Um, there's going to be a bit of taking care of over winter. You can starting chili seeds now is fine, but there is going to be a bit of taking care of over winter, making sure that they're kept warm, making sure that they get enough light. That's going to be really important. So tomatoes, spuds, and a few herbs. Are you growing your tomatoes under lights? Um, I'd sooner make my um, I'm off, Willoughby. You've been wonderful. Mali B, thanks for coming in and joining us. I think um, we're past 9 o'clock as well. Keep your garden green. Absolutely. You take care, and thanks very much for coming in. You remember I told you growing cabbage in a hanging basket. They're done really well. I put them on my fence where it doesn't get high winds. Well, that's fantastic. See, the only thing that I was worried about was, the root rock and the size of the plant. But if they're doing well, because that'll keep them away from the slugs as well. If you're onto something there, that'll be really good. What have I missed again? We're still wondering what your watching the dog was all about. Was it really watching the dog, or was it a euphemism for something? Um, Onion is really good for ear infection, and cayenne pepper is good for thinning the. Yeah, and I knew about the cayenne pepper. General, and it's good. Not just cayenne pepper, but chili is generally good for arthritis. Is generally good for pain. So, oh, wicked freezing. uh, if he gets a discount, that'll be nice. But if they've got a sale on at the moment, that might be worth going and checking out. Um, Guys, we're a little bit past 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I think I'm going to call it a night here. But it's been brilliant hanging about with everyone. Good. Thanks for coming in and just chatting away, because it makes just talking to you guys really helps me actually. So thanks. Okies, I'm out watching footy. I didn't like you. Do you know Alan just did the equivalent of I didn't like you anyway. Yeah, so it's been a good one. Good seeing everyone. Nice of you all to come in, and I'll see you again next week, hopefully. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Where's the end button there?